Hi, this is Paul, author of ListMonger, which is a list-making application for iPhone and iPod Touch. This video will provide a demo and overview of ListMonger's key features as of version 1.8, and will show a few examples of how these features might be put to use in your own lists. To get started, we'll launch ListMonger and take a look at the basics of getting around within the app. This is ListMonger's home screen, which is basically a list of the lists you create. Anywhere in ListMonger where you see an arrow here on the right-hand side, you can tap that row once and you'll be taken to the next level of information. If you want to edit an item, you can double tap on the row and that will bring up the item's detail and edit view. You can also enter edit mode by pushing the edit button down here and then touching the name of the item that you wish to edit. From the item detail view, you can touch in the field that you want to change. That will bring up the keyboard and you can enter your changes. When you're done, you have two options. You can touch the Save Changes button here to save your changes, or touch the Cancel button to dismiss any changes that you've made and return to your list. To navigate back to the home screen or top level, you use the Back button up here. Next, we'll take a look at adding and deleting items. To add new items, you use these two green buttons here in the upper right corner. We'll start with the one on the right, which allows you to identify any position in your list as the point where the item will be added. You can use this button on the left to add your item to the top of the list. This button on the right will add it to the bottom, or you can use these green plus buttons that appear to the left of your items to insert it at a specific row. So, for example, if we wanted to add an item under tomatoes here, we touch this plus button, and that would bring up the add screen. We'll type in our item, touch save, and you can see that the new item was inserted directly below the row we had selected. Now, this button on the left is a quick add button, which simply adds a new item at the bottom of your list. This saves you the step of having to identify the insertion point. There are a few options for deleting items. In view mode, you can swipe across the item that you'd like to delete, and then tap the confirmation button that comes up. Or else you can enter edit mode and touch the red minus button next to the item you'd like to erase. Or in edit mode, you can also access the multi-delete button, which provides options for deleting multiple items at once, such as delete all checked items or delete all flagged items. The next feature we're going to look at are the multi-nested hierarchical lists. In ListMonger, any item in any position in any list can have a sublist of its own. Sublists can be turned on or off at any time, so you don't need to know in advance when you're building your list which items are going to have sublists. You can just turn them on whenever they're needed. As an example, here's a list of some things I was going to do this weekend. As I mentioned before, items with arrows on the right like these have a sublist, and those without arrows do not. So this item here, Stop by Library, is an example of where I might want to add a sublist so I can remember the specific items that I wanted to pick up from the library. To add a sublist, we'll double tap on the item to bring up its detail view and scroll down to the bottom where there is a switch labeled Item has a sublist. We'll touch that switch to turn on the sublist, touch Save Changes, and now we have an arrow here on this row, so if we tap once, we'll be taken to our new list called Stop by Library. And here, under this list, I can add the items that I want to remember under this topic. Next, I'd like to show you ListMonger's quick change column views. In ListMonger, items can utilize up to 10 fields of information, and it's really too much information to bring onto the iPhone screen all at once for all of the items. So to manage this, ListMonger offers two quick change columns that let you very easily change the information that appears on screen. Now to start, you should know that the name column in the middle does not change. This column always shows the item name. This column here to the left can show either the check marks or the flags, and you can touch this button here to toggle between these two fields. Over here on the right, you touch this button, which brings up a popover menu that lets you choose the field that is displayed in the right-hand column, whether that's quantity or priority, date checked, and when this column is set to off, the entire row is given over to the item name field, which lets more of this info be shown. Next, I'd like to demonstrate ListMonger's sorting options. First, you can manually adjust the order that items appear using drag and drop. To do this, you enter edit mode, then touch and hold on these three bars that appear on the right. Once the item highlights, you can drag the item up or down to change its position in the list. If you've arranged your items in a certain order that you would like to save and be able to later recall, you can do that by entering Edit Mode, touching Sort, and then touching the Save Current Sort Order button. We'll come back to this one in just a second. You can also sort items directly from View Mode by touching and holding on the column name in the header. So to sort on item name, we'll touch and hold here, select Ascending, and our list will be sorted alphabetically by name. We can touch and hold here to sort checked items to the bottom, and you'll see that the checked items are grouped together and are still sub-sorted in alpha order from our previous sort. Or we can set this column to any field such as priority, and then sort on that. Now at this point, if we wanted to put our items back in the custom sort order that we previously saved, we can do that by going to Edit, then Sort, and set the wheel to sort based on the saved sort order. We'll touch Ascending, then Sort List, and our items are back in our custom sort order. Next, I'd like to show the flagging and checking options in ListMonger and show how these might be used with a shopping list or a packing list or any type of a master list that you might reuse over and over. To start out, you would open your list and toggle the left column to show the flags by touching here. I have here a list of items that we commonly use in our house, and as we run out of things, I'll flag the items that we need to buy. Then, when I'm ready to go to the store, I'll press this flag filter button here, and that will filter the list so that only our currently flagged items are showing. So this leaves you with a filtered list of just the things you need on this particular trip to the store. Then you can toggle this over to the check column and check items off as you pick them up. And down here is a check filter button, which will filter out the items that you've already checked, so you can concentrate on just the items that you still need. Then as you check items off, those items will also be hidden. When you're done, you can reset the list in one step by entering Edit Mode and touching the Reset List button. This will clear the check, flag, and quantity fields for the list, and your list is ready to go again. I'd also like to note that if you touch and hold on either of these filter buttons, there are a couple of additional filter-related options that will pop up. ListMonger offers 10 fields in which you can record information about your items, and I'd like to show you special features from 3 of these. First up is the quantity field, which provides plus and minus buttons that let you adjust the quantity from list view mode, so you don't have to open an item's detail view each time you want to adjust this value. Instead, you can just tap on these buttons to increment the value up or down. Or, if you prefer, you can use free text in this field by opening the item in Edit View and entering text. Next up is the Notes field. When viewing your lists, if the Notes field is populated, you can tap in the Notes column, and that will bring up a full screen view of your notes. This view is scrollable, so if you have lots of information recorded in this field, you can scroll through it like this. Also, any phone numbers, email addresses, or web pages that you recorded in the Notes field will automatically be formatted as hot links, so you can simply touch these links to dial the number, address an email, or open a web page in Safari. The last field that I'd like to look at is the Custom field, which is actually just a text field that can be used to store any kind of information that you want. But if desired, you can customize the label for this field. In this case, I'm keeping a list of music to check out, and I've recorded the album name in the custom column here. So I'm going to go to the parent for this list and double tap on the row to open its Detail and Edit view. And there's a field here called Label for Custom Field. I'll tap in this field and change the label to Album, touch Save, and when we go back into that list, you'll see that this column is now identified with my custom label. The last feature that we're going to look at is ListMonger's emailing options. To access the email options, you touch the Mail button, and that brings up 3 formatting options. The first will email a list with the item name only. The second option will email a table with the item name and the current check status. And the third option will email a table with complete information from all 10 fields for each item. So that's an overview of ListMonger version 1.8. Thank you very much.